Let's get this thing started. So we're here for operational risk management and safety. Let me start introducing myself. I'm Chief Carson Gillum. I'm the OIC of Ant Venice. I got my quals back in 2014, multi-mission ATON afloat and ashore. I've been a TCT facilitator since 2013, and I'm currently doing that here for Sector New Orleans. It's not going to be a real long session tonight, but obviously risk management is something we take real seriously in the Coast Guard. And I'm sure everybody is up to date and aware of the new GUARD 2.0 policy. You should have been fully implemented to your unit a couple months ago. So the big thing that we want to talk about is how we're going to use it, how we're going to use all of our different risk management strategies. So first step is to know the steps. Know how many you have, know what they are. It's a 5-step risk management process. Know what that is. Know what models that we use for risk management. Right now we're using the PEACE model. I see that for the foreseeable future. Go ahead and if you got an opinion on GUARD 2.0, that's something that I'd really love to hear. Let's go ahead and kind of sound off a little bit, and I'll come back to your comments later. Tell me what you think about GUARD 2.0. So we use the PEACE model. It's got 5 different elements: planning, event complexity, assets, communication, supervision, and environment. Something that I'd like to really kind of preach when it comes to the risk management program is this, the hazard assessment and mitigation worksheet combined with this worksheet. If you haven't looked at it yet, take a look at it. Hazard assessment and mitigation worksheet, what it does is it gives you an opportunity to really look at what your actual hazards are and really determine risk versus gain. It's not something you're necessarily going to do, barn burner SAR case, but it is something that if you have a little bit more time to plan, maybe an unusual situation, it's something that you can use to identify some risks that you're maybe not used to. That would be a great thing to implement in your board if they give you a complex situation that oh man, I see people spouting off likes, dislikes, oh my gosh. Hey, Master Chief Jones, Timmy. All right. When we're developing our decisions, when we're developing our control measures, one thing that I want to just mention is that I've talked to a lot of bosun mates, and it seems like we're becoming a little bit risk adverse. We're not willing to make bold decisions anymore. Obviously, that's something that the Commandant expects of us as officers in charge, expects us to make bold decisions and take action right away. That doesn't mean reckless decisions, obviously, but we have to weigh risk versus gain. So think about that in your, when you're developing your command philosophy, and when you're developing how you're going to run your unit, what risk versus gain means to you. What does low risk mean to you? What does medium risk and what does high risk mean to you? Think about the types of situations that you might be put in. Think about the types of missions that you might be doing and what that means to you. Okay, so far I'm not seeing anything negative on GUARD 2.0. I like that. I like that a lot. All right, so our references that we're going to be using are the Risk Management Manual, Commandant Instruction 3500.3 Alpha. It was published in March 2018. And this gives us the mandated use of the GUARD 2.0 and how we're going to implement it. Can anybody tell me what the requirements are for training for TCT now? I know there's going to be a lag on here, so it's kind of hard to have back and forth. Sean, perfect. That's exactly. That's what I love about Guard 2.0. It makes the crew have it. He says it makes the crew have a discussion, not just rattle off numbers. I agree with that. I felt that a lot of people with the old GAR were focusing on numbers and staying on the green, as opposed to actually evaluating risk versus gain. Outstanding point. And it's not just because I agree with you. Hans, correct, yearly. So you have a yearly requirement now with TCT. It used to be a biannual requirement for 8-hour and an initial for 16-hour. We have gotten rid of that. It is now an annual course that is a 4-hour course. So let me ask you this. How do we get TCT training at our units? Can our OICs give TCT training? Does it have to be a facilitator? LMS initial training and yearly after that, correct. And remember that when you guys are doing your LMS training, or when you're doing your annual, is that the LMS training, it's a permanent training, but if you have a new person, they've got to do it before they start. So can anyone tell me how we're going to conduct risk management at our unit when it comes to the TCT program? Take the course or a facilitator. All right, I think you're kind of on there, Hans. If you read up in Commandant Instruction 3500, decimal 3 alpha, you'll see exactly how you can conduct risk management at your unit, or how you can conduct the training at your unit. And in my opinion, I think that's where we need to be doing our training. I think we need to be doing our training at the unit as opposed to having a facilitator come in and do it. HISWL can give OIC permission to close. Well, yes, it is a HISWL program. Thank you for reminding me that. Correct, Adam. OIC doesn't need the course but must be designated. Needs someone certified by Train the Trainer. So what you're going to end up doing is, if you're an OIC and you're looking to get this training and you're looking to train your people at your unit, you're going to have a facilitator come in and watch you give the training, and then we'll certify you to give the training at your unit. You just won't be able to do it outside the unit. Does anybody have any questions about the Guard 2.0 program? Okay. Well, I'm not going to beat a dead horse when it comes to GAR. Everybody knows what it is, when it's supposed to be used. My question is, other than getting underway, what are some other times that we're going to use the GAR? What other times are you guys using GAR outside of getting a vessel underway, or doing a buoy operation, or doing a boarding? What are some other times that you guys are using the GAR at your unit? Know the difference between real-time risk management and deliberate risk management. Mission changes while underway, correct? Obviously, if our mission changes while we're underway, or we have new hazards, new elements that are going to affect our GAR, obviously, I was just underway yesterday and lost my port engine and had to come back on one engine. That definitely changed my GAR. So if things change, GAR can change. Anchoring, drills, Cody Key, my man. Climbing, perfect. Forklift operations, that's kind of what I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. This kind of goes into the safety thing too. Unfortunately, we had a real tragedy not that long ago where we lost a Coast Guard member up in Alaska due to heavy equipment accident. And one of the things that I want to preach is doing a GAR before you operate heavy machinery, doing your checklist, doing a GAR before you operate heavy machinery, before you send people aloft. So that kind of goes into your safety program. Know what's required of you. Buoy truck unloading, fast cruise drills is. Daily morning briefs at the station to go over the daily plan and hazards that could occur. Outstanding, Mark. Trailer operations. So, yeah, think about the other times that you're going to use your GAR. It's not something that is just, I have to do it before I get underway. I have to do it every time we do a nav brief. I have to do it every time we come into restricted waters. Think about times that you may not be required to do a GAR, but you may want to do one. Especially if you're in a situation like we were down here where we just had a hurricane go through. There were some situations where we had to deal with high water, and we had to reevaluate our hazards prior to doing some of our normal tasks. Safety programs. Know what's required of you for safety, and this isn't just for our when it comes to like weightlifting equipment. This doesn't just go for the ATON guys, multi-mission folks. You guys have boat lifts at your units. You may, and know what's required of you for maintenance and safety when it comes to your boat equipment. Know what's required of you for underway safety requirements when your inspections are due. Can anybody tell me how often a SMART inspection occurs? Jake, you're exactly right. Risk management is always ongoing. It doesn't have to be something formal. Perfect. That's kind of what I'm trying to get across. So SMART inspection. Who's got the answer on SMART inspection? How often are you required to have it? Every 3 years, correct. Every 3 years, and then a USAT annually. So USATs are and this is typically going to be covered by your engineer. Your USATs are going to be covered by your engineer on your board, and your USAT is required to be every year. It's something that's done at the unit by the unit members. Self-assessment, that's what I'm trying to get at. All right, what other safety programs do we have? And the funny thing about safety is every single Coast Guard program that we have is all safety driven. We're very hyper safety focused to the Coast Guard. What kind of other safety programs do you have? I'll give you another one. Respiratory protection. What else do we have? Know your requirements for respiratory protection. Know your requirements for sending people into confined spaces. Who else can give me another safety program that we have in the Coast Guard that protects our people? I hope you guys don't hear the chaos that's going on in my house right now. I got 2 kids that are just extremely upset right now. OMSEP, yes, perfect. Hearing, respiratory protection, heat stress, hazmat, those are all safety programs. Know what your requirements are for each one of those. Know when you're going to be inspected, who's going to inspect you, and what's required, and where to get those inspections. The HISWL website is great. You get a lot of great information from the HISWL website. All right, I'm going to give a safety scenario, and I want a couple responses on how you would handle the situation. You are underway on 45-foot response boat, and you are approximately your object that you're searching for, the boat you're searching for, is approximately 10 miles away. You're already 20 miles offshore, and one of your members breaks their leg. The boat is reported taking on water. what are you going to do in that situation? One of your members broke their leg, and you're about 10 miles away, got an ETA about 12 minutes. What are you going to do in that situation? And go. And while you guys are kind of coming up with your answer, I'm going to talk about a little bit of board preparation. Not board preparation, but, some things to be looking out for, some things you want to do. Some things that helped me when I passed the board. I had a study buddy. I had my buddy in Sitka, Alaska, Chief Hurley. He and I studied quite a bit. I had somebody come watch my mock board at my OIC college, and that's why I want to kind of preach about the mock boards that we do here on our during our virtual OIC college. A lot of guys last year got great information, and a lot of quals came from those guys that took mock boards because they were able to watch the video back and see, kind of the things that they were messing up on. So, big time recommend on the mock boards. Set some time aside every night. I can only study for about 30 minutes at a time, or I lose my mind. I can't focus on it. So set a little bit of time a night. Set some time for yourself. Set some time aside for your family. Make sure that you're giving back to yourself by trying to certify. Make sure that you're giving something back to your family at the same time. So those are kind of like my little tips. People want to know how much you need to study or how much you need to know. And a good buddy of mine, Chief Bosman, told me when we were teaching at the OIC college together, he told everybody, he says, you need to know about an inch deep and a mile wide. And that was probably the best advice I had ever heard someone give was, how much do I need to know? Well, you need to know about an inch deep and a mile wide. And that's just, don't go too deep into the weeds. Depends on the member. Is my only engineer? What part of the leg? Severity of break? Other resources? And you guys are helo medevac. Have one member attend broken leg, another crew member conduct casualty, respond to the boat. Stabilize limbs, splint, and survivor's compartment. All right, so you guys are really hitting on something that I was hoping you would do. I was really hoping that you guys were going to ask for amplifying information. That's something that's real important. Make sure that you have all the information that you can when you're being given a scenario on the board. All great answers. I've kind of hit everything that I wanted to hit, the main key points about risk management. So I kind of want to just kind of open it up for any questions. General questions, whether it has to do with risk management, safety. When it comes to, you ATON folks, I'm sure that the ATON person covering ATON is going to cover a little bit of fall protection. That kind of goes in the safety realm. Make sure you know your requirements, ATON folks, for fall safety. ATON afloat, make sure that you guys know your asbestos abatement procedures. So, Master Chief Hoffling, welcome aboard. So just make sure that you guys are up on all your safety programs. There's quite a few of them, but I guarantee you reach out to your cognizant EO, you're gonna get some good results on where to dive into on safety. Give it a couple more minutes for any questions. And once again, I'm sorry I was a little late tonight. I apologize. I had a project I was working on that, like the whole machine that I used just kind of fell apart at the last second, and I kind of had to rebuild that whole system real quick. And my kids were screaming. It's just an absolute disaster. I wonder if CG support has like babysitters, because I could really use that. All right, another minute or two for questions. Otherwise, I'm going to bid you guys adieu and get my life in order over here. I really encourage you guys to sit for the mock boards. They were a great success last year, like I was saying before. So please, 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 if you have any questions, whether it comes to ATON, or I'm better at answering ATON questions these days, reach out to me. Look me up in Global. Call me on my cell phone. The 941 area code is the best one to reach me at. So hit me up. I really enjoyed talking to a couple candidates last year. I offered that up, and a couple people took me up on it. Give me a call. What was your biggest hurdle going through the process? Whew, myself. Just kind of talking myself into thinking that I could do it. I had heard a lot of horror stories about the OIC review board, and I kind of had this opinion that I didn't know enough. I wasn't experienced enough. I had never been an XPO. I didn't know. I felt like I didn't know anything. And then I sat before a mock board. I went to an OIC college up in Ketchikan, and I sat before a mock board, and I was just kind of blown away by all the questions they were asking me and how much I knew. So when that mock board really gave me the confidence to say, oh man, I really can do this. But going through the process after that, it was really just more myself just trying to figure out whether I could do this or not. And quit second guessing myself and giving myself a little bit of credit. I'd been in the Coast Guard a while, and I thought I was a pretty decent boatswain, and I just didn't have a lot of confidence to start off in the process. But when I passed that District 17 board before I went to PAC area, that was a real boost in confidence. I'd say I probably did better on my District 17 board than I did on my PAC area board, because I was just so nervous, going into my District 17 board, and I just didn't want to look stupid. So, that was just something that a hurdle I had to get over. Not realizing that, it didn't matter how I did. Nobody was going to think I was stupid. It was all me. That was my biggest hurdle going through the process, was myself. So once I got over that, it was smooth sailing. All right. Any more questions? Give it about another 45 seconds. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you tuning in tonight. This video will be available on Facebook on our OIC page for eternity, I suppose. I guess until Nick takes it off. So, it's out there, the ethos forever. So enjoy it. And like I said, if you have any questions, anything about the review board, please give me a call and reach out to me. Look me up in Global, the cell phone with the 941 area code. All right, folks. Have a good night, and be safe out there.